What is up, Surgeaholic Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge, a podcast that tells it like it is. And it's nice and warm in Oklahoma today. Cool front's coming in over the weekend. It's going to get downright chilly across the state. But in Oklahoma, are things heating up? Really not a lot of news, Jay. Thunder are heating up tonight. Dominant win over the Cavaliers. OU basketball is about as ice cold as any program in the country right now. And Porter Moser's seat is as hot as anyone's in the country right now.
Yeah, it's not good, Germ. Got to get a win this weekend. We'll see what happens. They should be able to beat South Carolina, but I'm never going to say they are after what I've watched. But women won tonight. They get the win over Missouri, so that's good. What's up, everybody? Really hi, everybody. Hey, boys. What's up, Monty? How you doing tonight? Jim Knowles. There it is. Jim knows. And I don't know what we're talking about here. John Wick Mateer. Guys, there is no 4-2-1.
He doesn't. He squats a lot.
He's a really good runner, but he's not 4-2-1. He's a good runner.
What's up, Jay?
What's up, Pink Floyd? What's up, Mike?
He's really good.
I think he squats like 600 pounds.
I don't know the number, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of pounds. What's up, Teresa? Hey, you see the graphic? You see the graphic that Hunter made tonight? Kendal Daniels, John Mateer, portal game changers next year. I think those two guys are.
Would you agree? Add Marvin Jones Jr. to that.
Well, we're talking those two specifically. They're going to have to be if you want OU to have a better record next year. John Mateer is going to have a great season. If you want OU to have a better record than they had last year, he's going to have a really, really good season.
Hunter's doubting you on the 600.
Well, if you go find their radio guy said it on a game last year. So that's what I went off of. So I can find the clip.
Hey, Hunter. And Michael, that's big news. I saw the ruling on the Department of Education. When something comes out, it's going to be interesting, but that's going to change things.
What news are we talking about?
Well, it's the Title IX stuff.
I didn't see what happened.
Basically that it would be, and the language that I want to use that was used was financial assistance. So if it's considered financial assistance, a lot of these teams wanted to divvy out the money percentage-wise to certain programs where football gets a lot more money than others. And with Title IX, it's going to maybe change that. Guys, if OU had come back last night, we talked about in the Discord, we were going to have a balloon snake tonight. I had one getting ready as the Sooners cut the lead to 3, but then guess what? It didn't happen.
Divvy everything out evenly. That's what Sad Porter Moser. He's Sad Porter Moser stand tonight for sure today. Basically, the rev share had to be spread evenly among women's. Are you saying it has to be or it had to be?
Among all sports, Jay.
Has to or had?
I think. Look, I know someone put in Discord today. I think they watched the latest, maybe OU Insider podcast, and some news they dropped that was Jaron Kanek is on the offensive side.
I'll give you credit for that, Germ. I'll give you credit for that.
I don't give credit for it. I'm just glad it finally happened. Get the guy on the field.
You were hollering for that for a while. But we'll see if that even works, Germ, because they did the same thing with Jacoby Johnson last year at receiver. How'd that work out?
Well, I think we did talk about a few weeks ago when they were getting a lot of these guys out of the portal at tight end. There was like, man, you can easily move someone else over that would be better than these guys.
Ray Smith 2477 asking tonight, who's going to be the next DC? Let me give you a percentage, Jerem. Or let me say this: are you taking Jim Knowles or are you taking the field?
Oh man,
Hunter's taking the field. I'm taking Knowles.
To me, if you take the field, then you're saying it's 51%. If I were to take the field, it would be 51% field, 49% Knowles.
So you think it's pretty close?
Hey, I do. And listen, just because nothing's been heard this week means nothing. They're in the national title game.
Yeah,
please.
I agree. There's the Kel Gundy comment of the night. Of course, had to get that in. Zaya says Knowles. Jimmy says Knowles. Will Moser accept an NIT invite? Probably not. Hopefully not.
He'll be out of Dodge.
There's the Kel Gundy comment. Field. 2 starting quarterbacks for Ohio State and Notre Dame are mid 3 stars out of high school. Yeah. Hey,
Outpost. It's tight end, and look, it depends on how Arbuckle wants to use, if he's going to use an H-back, fullback, or a double tight end set, but he's going to be on offense, it sounds like, Kennick. And about 5 days ago, I said something about, you guys see his TikTok? His title was catching passes. Why would he be catching passes? I think people in the chat even laughed at me.
Training up, man. He's trying to get ready. How many players, Hunter, how many players are in the tight end room if that's the case? 9?
I think
they have like 9
tight
ends. They're going to be running a 5 tight end set at one point. I mean, who would you hire as the new basketball coach if they got rid of Porter? I'd go after a couple of guys. One, you're not getting Kelvin Sampson back, but I would try to get his son Kellen. I would just try it. That would be one guy, Kellen Sampson from Houston. Even though he's probably like a coach in waiting there, I would go after it. The other one would probably be I don't want to go. Actually, I probably would throw everything at Kellen is what I would do.
Hey, Jen.
I think he'd bring. I think fans would love it. Everything. I think he's a good coach.
This is something I mentioned, and I know we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Jay, that you kind of need some depth at linebacker. So yeah, I don't see why that would be out of the realm of possibility that he could still be a backup on the defensive side. But I just want to see Kennick with the ball in his hands a few times.
Yeah, I'd like to see what he did. We'll see. I'd like to see it in spring game and stuff first, see what he can do. Why in football?
918. I'm going to answer your question because it hasn't worked in football.
Wait, what are we talking about?
How they go to former Sooners. And you're promoting.
Can I say why? Can I say why I said that? Why I say, put your head down if you want. I don't care. You can turn your camera off when I'm talking. It doesn't bother me. Okay, I don't care if you do. Go ahead and turn your camera off. I'm going to say something if it's going to bother you. But I said Kellen Sampson. The reason I said a previous player is I think what you need in basketball, one thing you need is fan support. They don't have it very much in basketball. I think he would help with that. Football is going to sell out no matter who you bring in. Let's face facts. Basketball doesn't. I think sometimes you need a guy that'll fit that. Okay. And I think Kellen could bring that kind of stuff. The fans would like it. They would really like it. I thought they would like Porter Moser too, but Porter Moser's not winning.
Maybe it's my end. It's like lagging. I think it may be me. Hey, the thing is, where was DeMarco Murray before he came to OU?
He hadn't coached.
Exactly. You brought up guys that have been assistants for years, Jay. There's a difference. Yeah.
Hey, answer this question. Yes or no? I said yes all along. You said no. So.
Yeah. Here's the only thing that doesn't make sense. Why they would be waiting for one. One, why would they be waiting? Okay. And 2, he has nowhere to go right now. So you would hope that someone would have already picked him up, but no one's going to. So I would love to say that he won't be on staff next year. I have a hard time saying it.
Yeah, and
I think a bad example. Bad excuse, Sergeant Lincoln. I'm sorry, bad excuse.
Hey, wait, who's blaming the fans? Are you saying because I said that they don't show up for basketball? Hey, Sergeant Lincoln. They never show up for basketball. It's not just who they've never only
nothing to do with the arena, Jay. Has nothing to do with the arena.
I think arena.
I love Lloyd Noble Center.
No, I think the arena would help, Jerm. Come on.
It would help, but I'm saying Lloyd Noble isn't a horrible arena.
Arena has lots to do with the Hunters. And by the way, Jeremy, DeMarco Murray was at Arizona before OU.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Not for very long, though, was he? I don't think it was very long.
Stop blaming the fans, Jay. It's ridiculous.
Blame the fans for what? I'm confused. Sergeant Lincoln, what am I blaming? What?
You blaming the fans.
What did I blame them for, Jerm? Answer me.
There's some. I was being facetious, Jay. There's some good news. Softball season right around the corner. Open the phone lines for Chester. Open the phone lines for Chester.
Hey, I want to know on the fan stuff. All I said was, and guys, what do you mean blame the fans? They're not showing up. I mean, what do you want me to say? Did I say that? I mean, they're not putting a great product on the field, on the court either. So, I mean, we got Chester on the line. What's up, Chester?
How's everybody doing?
Doing all right,
good.
Man. You?
Yeah, I see a lot of the YouTubers and such. They're talking about how we fans are causing trouble. How are fans causing trouble for a poor administration?
Wait, who said that?
You come on. I'm not going to mention the people's names. You know, come on, man. They even came on your shows talking about it.
I know who you're talking about.
But if fans and people in chat and YouTubers want to say fans like me are the problem, then I'm all for it. Because if a fan likes me gets it up into Joe C's message boards to where he's like, you know, this guy, we're going to leave because of him, then Boomer Sooner for life.
Hey, Chester, I know who you're referring to.
Wait. Are we talking about another show or something? Or
not you guys, man. I told y'all are my favorites, man.
Jay, you know what he's referring to, dude. Why are you playing dumb, Jay?
Come on, Jay. Don't be all wishy-washy on me now.
I was talking about the fans saying that. Fans calling fans.
No, it's people on Jay. He's talking about how people are blaming fans for when these guys are making decisions because of how the fans are treated.
Okay.
Right. Exactly. Because if they're actually listening to us fans that are calling them trash, then they're not doing their job in the first place. I work at a company where I get treated like crap by customers all the time. I don't go whine about it. It's my job.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's OU, any big time program is going to have fans when things aren't going good that are going to be negative.
Well, the fans should be.
I would hope.
If the fans, okay, let me say something. I am not accepting this because if we accept this, we are going to be mid. We're going to be bad as 90s again.
Agreed.
Listen, let me tell you something. It was so people don't forget, apparently. It was so bad in the 90s when I would talk about, because everybody would be like, yeah, I'm a Florida State fan. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're just liking them because they're winning it right now, or whatnot, you know. I would say, well, I'm an OU fan. And then they laugh at me and all this. And then you talk to your friends and family, and it's like, man, is OU ever going to be good again? That's where we're kind of at now, and I'm trying not to let it happen. Now, I can't do nothing about it other than complain and tell everybody that Joe C sucks.
Well, here's what I'll say.
We know you're going to say that.
And Hunter can probably drop it in the chat again. This fits perfectly with the quote that I posted yesterday on our Twitter. And it has to do with there's so much fake in the world where people don't want to really say what's really happening and things that when there is truth that's being shared, it comes across as offensive and it's annoying.
Maybe I'm too crazy, I guess. For me, it's family first and then Oklahoma, baby. Boomer Sooner for life. Y'all have fun.
Have a good one. Have a good night at work. Jay, I hope they treat you better at work tonight, Chester.
Hey, Jay, to think that, and people have said, I've heard a lot of people say this before, not just certain people. I've heard a lot of people say, you know, it's OU. I've seen it all over Twitter. Yeah, I mean, these fans are just, they're ripping the players. They're ripping the coaches. I mean, why would you want to go to that university? Well, for me, I'm thinking, why would I not want to go to a university where fans care about the program? And by the way, when you're getting $1 million and free education, I'm sorry, at that point, let's stop it. Let's stop.
Hey, let me tell you this.
Let's stop complaining that now, Hunter, fans do say some, Hunter, if we're talking about personal attacks or some kind of threats. That is so ridiculous. That would be a reason that someone might want to go somewhere. We're talking about calling people out as far as how they played. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, I'll say this. I talked to a lot of people in SEC country, just different teams. You know what the very first thing they said to me this year when I talked to them after about halfway through the SEC season was? It was this comment right here. What's the deal with Oklahoma? Were they not ready for the SEC? This is national. This is not OU fans, okay? So from their perspective, they're like, what's going on in Oklahoma? Well, you could say the Andrews or whatever, but all of them say this. Yeah, I knew once they got in the SEC, this would happen. And that's what I hate dealing with. That's why they got to win now. They got to win now. The longer you deal with this, it's going to be the same stuff. Like, well, they weren't SEC ready. Look at it. They're another Arkansas. They're another. And hey, you know what? Here's the thing. OU, if people don't want to hear fan negative, win games. Right, that's how you stop that. Listen, I can promise you next year, if OU goes 10-2, I won't be on here screaming about things saying it was a bad year. I'll be happier. I'll be screaming happy things. But they got to go win. You got to go win. You can't wait 2 to 3 years. Like, if it doesn't work for Brent Venables next year and they get rid of him, then you're probably going in another cycle. Let's face facts, Sooner fans. If it doesn't work, you need it to work for Brent Venables. If it doesn't, you could be on a cycle that Texas went through, and it could be a couple times before you find the right guy. It needs to work next year. John Mateer, Kendal Daniels, they need to have these players they got at Portal, the youngsters at the O-line. They need to have great year this year. It can't be 2 years. They need a year this year, period. I mean, that's all you can say. They got to do it, man.
Jen is correct. It's at every university. There's fans at every university. And again, by us, I get that. I mean, what we're doing is we're trying to, we're always going to allow any type of fan as long as it's not crude and vulgar. But the other thing that someone said in here after what Jen said is, I've got to get to this. This has no bearing.
Zero.
No bearing, no relevance, Sergeant. I'm sorry. Whether or not someone is preaching things.
Ask Ohio State and Notre Dame. Ask Ohio State and Notre Dame.
Ask Ohio State and Notre Dame, because they seem to be church and soul ready as well. But they're winning, so no one talks about it.
It has to do with winning games. Everything has to do with winning games, period. Did you see that? It was official today. It was official today. Thank you, Jay. What's thank you, Jay, for? I don't know what that's for, but hey, today Lofton officially resigned as GM. So
why were people surprised with that?
I don't think people were surprised with it, were they? But that officially happened today. So we'll see what they do with that aspect and see where they go. But other than that, yeah, it's just you're getting ready for winter workouts now with Schmitty. I think they did they're doing their testing and all that for the off season. Here's the thing. It sounds like just hearing a couple of the offensive players, they're pretty pumped about Arbuckle. I'm pumped about Arbuckle. Okay. I can sit here and say that I'm pumped about Arbuckle.
Jay,
and I think the offense is going to be a lot better. I do.
Hey, I'm drinking a Starbucks here, and I'm not here to promote Starbucks.
Wait, let me guess. Caramel white mocha.
It's that, yes. Hey, but Jay, when you've had bad coffee and then you get a Starbucks, it's like, that's so good. Think about who OU has been around listening to. Seth Luttrell and Joe John Finley. I could probably walk in there and they might get excited about what I talked about.
And this is a great point.
Wait, Sergeant. Yeah, you know what they're doing? They're winning. It has nothing to do with BV being a guy who can motivate and talk about life and talk about soul mission and talk about his faith. That does not matter. Except, actually, guess what, Sergeant? It matters a whole lot more than you think, in my opinion, in the fact that in the long run, those guys are better for it, in my opinion. But in talking about wins and losses, to me, I mean, that doesn't matter. Ohio State and Notre Dame are winning. Hey, when Ohio State lost to Michigan, people are saying fire Ryan Day. Now he's it.
Hey, and phone lines are open. You see the link if you want to call in. But David has a good comment here. It's not just about winning. Fan base are unreasonable today. OSU is fixing to play for a national championship, and their fans want a day fired to lose in Michigan. That's true. Yeah, that's true. They did. But here's the thing, and David, here's why I absolutely love it. You know why? Because that OSU is complaining. The other OSU, they don't complain about stuff unless they lose to OU. I like passionate fan bases. I like it when guys are upset that losing to their rivals. I like it when fans get upset about that. They want to beat their rival. I don't like the teams I hate to say it, but Oklahoma State Cowboys, they don't care a whole lot about winning and losing, it seems like. Not for national championships. They may care about winning 7 or 8 games, but they should be passionate wanting to win the Big 12 every year. Shouldn't they?
I agree. Hey, I agree. And Chuck, I'm not letting anyone get to me. I do this every night. You know that. I think Lofton left is, in my opinion, maybe even mutual. Like, I think they want to go. It
sounded like it was.
I think they want to go a different direction and get a guy who's had a lot of GM experience. And Greg God, you know what? Kudos then. I think the word rely is a horrible choice of words here. I wouldn't say OU relies on Soul Mission. I would say OU is not going to move away from Soul Mission. They're not clinging to it as their only hope because they can't keep up NIL-wise. That's a bad take. Now, if you want to say they're not going to go away from it, fine.
Hey, I got a question.
With that. I'm fine with them not going away from it.
Hey, I got a question.
You're wrong about them clinging to it.
I got a question. Here's my question to Greg God and some other ones about the NIL stuff. And I think it's a interesting conversation. You can call in and talk about it if you want. You can put it in the chat. But name one of the top teams in college football. Give me 3 top teams in college football that you say are just killing it NIL right now. Put it in the chat. Killing it NIL. Put it in the chat right now. Because I know who they are. I know who the teams are. And they haven't won anything. So no, Ohio State, by the way, they spent a lot of money last year. You know how much they spent in the portal? Not much. Most of it was to keep their own players. Not to go buy other players.
Correct.
Not in the portal. Are we talking about portal or high school recruiting or what? Because yes, Texas does not just spend a ton of money.
Texas was 14th in the portal last year, Jay.
Yeah, they don't spend a ton of money in the portal.
No, they didn't.
Are we talking NIL and portal? Are we talking keeping your players? Are we talking high school recruits? What part of NIL are we talking about?
And Greg God, how do you know that that's what's pushed more in recruiting? I'm just curious. How do you know that they push all that more than NIL? Like, to me, it's.
Hey, real quick. 918's right. Those are the 3 guys they got. They got 3 big guys. But what I'm saying is they spent a ton of money with the guys they already had on the roster.
And Benjamin says, you spent a lot of money to keep guys this year, according to a source he has.
Yeah, Lofton's been for days and weeks, like, and that wouldn't surprise me either, Selene.
No,
I know
good for him.
I know a guy that's pretty good friends with him, and before that, he was doing that ministry. So,
hey, Greg God, I don't claim to keep up in recruiting. I don't think you keep up in it either. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know of anyone that's ever come to me and said, yeah, I read where OU only cares about Soul Mission, where they're telling the players, let's promote Soul Mission because we can't pay them. That's not right, in my opinion. I have not seen any of that. If you want to say they tell players about Soul Mission, I agree, they do. And I don't have a problem with it. But if you want to say they're hiding the fact they can't pay guys by just talking about Soul Mission, I think you're wrong. In my opinion. And I may be wrong. I've been wrong.
I see a lot of people saying Oregon, yes. Oregon, they spend a ton of money. They do. Okay. And they have a ton of money. Nike money, yes. Miami is another one. But Miami needs to win some. Miami needs to make the playoff. They should have made the playoff last year in the ACC with the roster they put together. They didn't do it. So you got to spend money. Hey, don't get me wrong here. OU needs to spend money. Yes. Greg God, I'm not disagreeing with you there. Okay. They got to spend NIL money with the likes of some of these teams that we're mentioning. Yes. If you want to keep winning in college football, you have to spend money. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying you also have to spend a lot of money to keep players. You got to spend a lot of money in the high school ranks. It's all of it. And yes, does OU need to be better there? Yes. They have to keep competing with these teams, and it's only going to go up. The bar's only going to go up. The amount's going to go up. Yes, I agree with that, great guy.
Jay, I think what you were saying on Ohio State is outside of Will Howard and maybe one or two other guys, they didn't get guys out of the portal.
Well, so they got like they got 2 to 3 guys that were really good, and that's the thing, they hit on them.
They hit on the Will Howard, Caleb Downs, who else?
And Will Howard's, I think, I mean, he is what he is. I mean, they had the 9th portal class, is what.
Yeah, because they had Judkins, Downs, and Howard. That's the 3, as someone said earlier. I don't know how much they paid each of those guys.
Missouri Athletics, $15 million in the red. Hey, and I'm not disagreeing, Sergeant. I know he promotes that stuff, but a lot of
3 years ago, and I think he's changed.
No, a lot of schools promote it too. I don't know what the percentages of what. I can't answer that. I don't want to claim to know it.
If Murray leaves, do you all think No.
I got a question.
No.
I got a question.
No.
Are you done?
Yeah, you can't bring Adrian Peterson as running back coach.
Where do you think? Oh, yeah, his son's going to be awesome. Where do you think OU's done the best at evaluating talent in the 3 years under Brent Venables? What area of the team? Don't give me one position group. Give me. I mean, it's obvious. It's defense.
I thought you meant position group.
It's defense, correct?
Well, yeah. If you're on one side of the ball,
so here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to tell you. And Greg God's already jumping to it. He's right on. He's dead on with this. When Brent Venables came in, everybody knew who was the best coach he got. Probably Todd Bates. Proven developer. They develop dudes. He does. Okay. If you're relying on the staff that was already there, or like offensive coaches, all right, whoever's going to evaluate guys out of the portal, you can say what you want about Brent Venables. I honestly think Brent Venables is like, you guys. I wondered this. Do you think Brent Venables is saying, "Hey, why do Emmett Jones? This is you go get who you want," or do you think Brent Venables having a say in that? I think they got to figure out the staff part. That's been a big problem, I think, on the offensive side of the ball. It's you had the bad OC hires. You still have Joe John Finley there. And guys, I think people can say they're not developing players, but Joe John Finley is also evaluating talent. Now, he got Devon Mitchell, but other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot of tight end guys coming in to play tight end that are just wow.
So what are you saying in that and all that?
I'm saying that I think it starts with, what is your staff like? That's what I'm saying. He brought in a good defensive staff. The offensive staff was already there. He didn't make any changes when he came in.
Well,
Name one guy he brought
again, the plan in BV's mind and a lot of the people's mind in Oklahoma is OU was going to the SEC with Jeff Levy and company. That was the plan, whether you want to agree or not.
I agree that's what he wanted to happen, but you really think
this? When it didn't, he went to something safe named Seth Luttrell, and it fell.
Germ, I think you are kidding yourself if when Levy got hired, he thought Levy would stay 3 years and not take a head coaching job. Come on.
He thought Levy was going to be going to the SEC with him.
That would be year 4. That'd be year 3, I guess. It was going to be year 4. They moved it up. You're right. But he probably did. But I mean, I don't know what to say, Germ. He probably did. But you know what? You know what, Germ? Jeff Levy left last year. Where would this team be this year if they would have went and actually done an OC search?
Jay, that's not the point, Jay.
That is the point. It was a bad hire. Horrible hire.
Jay, I'm saying the original plan was that this wasn't part of the original plan. And then when the plan went south, he made a bad choice.
I'm going to say this again. I said it about 3 months ago. Okay. You can rip BV on certain things if you want to. I think the worst thing he's done has been the coaching decisions as far as who he hired. But listen to this. You can also point to some things pretty often to say that they're reactionary. They're not proactive. In a lot of decisions they made, it's reactive.
Yes.
They're not very proactive.
Correct. That
And
falls on the leadership.
What's that? I mean, look at
falls on the leadership.
I just think, yeah, you got to be more proactive. Okay, Levy, you might have thought Levy was going to take you to the SEC, but you know what? You always got to have somebody in mind if Levy leaves. You can't just say, oh, Seth Luttrell's here. Let's hire him. No, you got to have somebody in mind.
Well, I saw the comment, and let's just be honest. Sometimes when things go south, I saw the comment by Mez that, Levy, I'm sure, pushed, hey, if you want to keep my offense, you got to go with Joe John Finley and Luttrell, and that seemed enticing to BV. And it was wrong.
Hey, it was just a wrong hire, okay? I've made mistakes and hired wrong people, and it didn't work out. But unfortunately, in any job in the United States, probably, that falls on the person that hires them.
Correct.
So now he's got to, okay, wash it. Get rid of it. Now you got Arbuckle. What can they do this year with Arbuckle? I do think Arbuckle's a really good hire. I do. I know the people that want to get in and say, oh, who'd he lose to at Washington State? I don't care. I think he's a good offensive mind. I think he's good. I think they're going to be good on offense this year. I think they'll be top 40. I'm going to say top 40 offense.
That's the guy I go. That's the guy I go get if DeMarco leaves is Drayton.
Hey, top 40 offense, agree or disagree?
I said it last night around 40 or 45. So, I mean, you combine that with maybe a top 15, 20 defense again, you're going to be better than you were this year. You're going to be better.
And Chuck says, Jay, really, what do you think? Josie thought was going to happen. Brent Venables has never been a head coach, so he's learning on the job. You're right. He is learning a job. And I think that, unfortunately, Oklahoma football, probably not the place to learn on the job. Unfortunately.
And Daniel, I agree with you to some extent, but here's where I disagree. BV and Bob Stoops are very similar in a lot of ways in the loyalty card. I mean, let's look at guys that Stoops kicked to the curb. He did kick Josh Heupel to the curb. It was very similar to the Seth Luttrell stuff, except Josh Heupel actually had a pretty good offense that year. Seth Luttrell did not. But now, one, it was a little harder for Bob Stoops because it was his brother, I think. But, I think there's been examples where Bob Stoops also, the loyalty is the weakness. Loyal to a fault.
Yeah, Stan Drayton, a lot of people talking, that'd be elite. That'd be elite. Hey, Jeremy, here's the other thing. We've talked about this during the season last year. When you look at Stoops and they went from Mike Leach left after year one. Who did Stoops go get? He promoted Mark Mangino. Brent Venables did the same thing. Levy left. Who did he go get? He promoted Seth Luttrell. And I think that's because what he knew, what he saw Bob Stoops do, he wanted that worked with Bob Stoops. The difference is Mark Mangino was a good coach. He coached head coach too. He took Kansas to Orange Bowl. Okay,
Seth Luttrell was a head coach.
He hadn't called plays in a long time, Jerm. And he got fired from his last head coaching job. Okay. I'm just saying, I see your point, but it's not the same. Okay. And it's not the same game. Listen, here's the thing. College football is not the same game in 2024 as it was in 2000. It's a totally different game.
You forget Kish.
Oh, he had some bad hires. I'm not going to lie.
Bad hires.
Yeah, and I think Eric said he hired a lot of friends and stuff.
Hunter, drop Stan Drayton's pass because didn't he also coach the Bears? Or am I wrong? Wasn't Stan Drayton coaching in the NFL, Jay? Running backs in the league?
Yes, he coached in the NFL, correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, Sergeant, I think you go look at his experience, it's unbelievable. Like, why would you not want Stan Drayton? The question would be the recruiting aspect against a guy like Tashard Choice or Rashad Samples. Maybe those guys recruit better. But, yeah, Zeke Elliott was pretty good. When he came into the league, he wasn't a bad tailback. In fact, I think he was one of the best.
Do you think
Sam Drayton can
I don't
coach running backs?
Hey, Jade Fox says possibility that OU is 2-2 going on the week of Red River. I mean, I don't have the
Get
schedule
out
in
of here,
front of me.
dog.
What? What's going on? Sounds like German's dog came in the room there. I don't know what's going on, but you got Michigan. That's a tough non-conference game. And then is it game 4 is the Auburn game? Is that right, Hunter? I'd have to look in front of me. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, Jeremy with the dog. We heard it in the background. His dog just attacked him by barking, I guess. I don't know. What happened, Jeremy?
Sergeant. Your question, Sergeant, was who has he coached? So when I answer the question of who he's coached, that it was an elite running back, one of the top dudes in the entire country, and one of the best when he came to the NFL, and now your answer is that was a long time ago.
It was a long time. Jeremy, it was a long time ago.
I didn't say it wasn't, Jay.
Zeke hasn't been good in a while. You know
that wasn't the argument. The question was who has he coached?
There was something I was going to get to.
You're right. It was a long time ago. I agree that one. And I haven't looked at who else he coached recently. He's not been in a lot of big time schools.
Paul's picking 8 to 10 wins next year. Says better. The key to me is going to be the O-line. Oh, here's what I was going to ask. And this is hypothetical, and you know how hypothetical is, okay? But I just want some people's opinions to see what you think. All offseason last year, what was it we heard from Brent Venables? He was pumped about the defense, and you heard this a lot. He would say, I think people are going to get used to this. We need to win games with the defense. It's almost like he already knew the offense wasn't going to be very good. I think that might have been a downfall, thinking, okay, let's just promote Seth. I think our defense is good enough to win games. We don't need to go make a bunch of changes on offense. Let's just I wonder if that was a thought.
I don't know, but there's a lot of people, Jay, that are talking. And look, Michigan is very early in the year. And I know we are so far away from that game. But listen right now, and I agree, Sad Porter, Moser, Stan. I would take Stan over DeMarco right now any day. But hey, second game of the season, Michigan. Look at some things that, in my opinion, are in OU's favor going into that game. There's not much because Michigan's on the up and up. OU is not. They're going the other direction. But Michigan is not going to have a lot of film on Arbuckle as OU's coach. Michigan's also not going to have a lot of film on this. They can't go back to this last year and watch film because it's not any receiver except for Burks. I mean, they're going to have to piecemeal a lot of film on different guys. There are some big-time advantages.
It's college football, man. I mean, that doesn't matter. You get in between the white lines, you just can't turn the ball over. If OU...
Well, I agree, Jay, but my point is it's going to be hard to scheme against.
Guys, OU was horrible offensively last year. And here's the sad thing. Here's the crazy thing about last year. They were so bad offensively. They had, 20 fumbles? They had how many defensive touchdowns allowed on them?
Well...
And they still should have beat Missouri. I mean, they still could have had, 8 wins?
Right. But, Jay, Michigan's offense, are you thinking Bryce Underwood starting? Because either way, you're going to have a very young quarterback, or you're going to have a super young, talented quarterback. You're going to have one of the guys that had this year, and they couldn't throw the ball. A one-dimensional team is going to be very tough to move the ball on OU.
And KB brings up the injuries. KB, here's what I would say. There is no shot it could be worse, any similar to last year. I just don't see how you can have that many wide receivers injured. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that was an anomaly.
And by the way, before
Greg God's right about this. I was getting ready to say it, but yes, you also got to say they did beat Alabama. They could have lost to Houston. They could have lost to Tulane. So, yeah, it equals out, I guess.
Hey, and I'm going to say something here because I was just getting ready to say it and you took it off, Jay. But listen, when Sooner Cowboy says BV ain't learning from his mistakes, he's still making the same decisions in year 3 as he did in his first season. This is why when I said something about Jim Knowles and people went off and said, that's ridiculous. Maybe BV's learning some things. Maybe he's learning some things that, okay, I'm not going to rely on guys that I've mentored or guys that just know I'm going to get the best one here, and I'm going to go get the best of this guy, and we're going to spend money on these returning play. I don't know what's going through BV's mind. Where has he been bad at? Game management, horrific. Personnel decisions, horrific. Like, I think there needs to be a heart-to-heart between him and a couple of these coaches as far as who's going to play. Here's what we're going to do, like, in my opinion.
Well, and I think the thing you can look at, Brent Venables has been there 3 years now, and Daniel's saying could go both ways. But if you look at the 3 years, the 3-year span, they have lost a lot of close games. That if it goes the other way, Brent Venables looks a lot better, but he's part of that, though. He's the head coach. You got to win close games. I mean, you look at it, the Kansas and the OSU game 2 years ago, they win one of those, they might be in the playoff. They lost both of them, and those were tight games. You got to find a way to win. That's what great coaches do. They find a way to win those games. It might be, I mean, perfect example is last year. Germ, OU is tied with Missouri. The worst thing that can happen is you go into overtime. That's the absolute worst thing that can happen with 40 seconds on the clock. Well,
the worst thing that can happen happened.
And with the worst offense, maybe in OU history, you decide to run a 2-minute offense in 40 seconds and go try to score, and what happens? You get beat. That to me is a big-time coaching mistake. You take that to overtime. You don't mess with it. Jackson Arnold hasn't proved he's going to drive you down the field 70 yards to win the game.
Agree.
So
and
take it to overtime. That's a game that you look at and it's like, okay, why'd they do that?
Can't explain it, Jay. We've done this. Sooner WX, you asked, yeah, I don't know why he's on the payroll either, but Jim Knowles, Dalpo is yes. In my opinion, as soon as the Natty's over, within 48 hours, we're going to know something. Look, check out the fan stop at thefanstop.com. Look at their Shirt of the Month club. Sign up for it. Use our code SURGE. Get 10% off your first 3 months. Hit the like right now. Just take a second. Also, phone lines are open. Give us a holler. It should be pinned up at the top. Jay, there's a saying that people say that I kind of don't like. You ready for it?
What's that?
What letter's in the center of pride?
I.
Because it's all about you. And when it's all about you, think the reason I don't like that is what's at the center of humility? What letter?
I.
Exactly.
Where are you going with this?
What I'm saying is it's about you making the correct choices when it comes to reflecting on what you've done. BV looks in the mirror. If anyone thinks BV is looking in the mirror and saying, well, we're going to do it the same way next year and get it done, I just don't see that myself.
No,
there are some things that I'm shaking my head. There are some things where I'm going, what is he doing?
Hey, and Samurai Sooner, listen, you're not in the Discord, but all you do is go back in the Discord or the text thread. And I said, I would not try to move the ball here. So I know a lot of guys would. Okay, I get it. You want to go try to score. But with the offense they had and the turnover situations they had and the receivers they had that game, I don't know why you would mess with it. It doesn't matter. That was last year. Moving on to next year, okay? 2025. Got to make a lot better position changes at O-line. They got to be a lot better at O-line, period. And Eric, we've had this discussion in the Discord.
I think they could go from B to A if you're going to – I mean – to me, Jim Knowles calls critical calls at big time.
But Jaron, Eric's point is valid, and I agree with him on this, that if you get Knowles, it's not going to do a whole lot different for the defense. It's still going to be good either way. If you get Knowles or not, the defense is going to be good.
But it could be great.
Listen. The changes have to happen on the other side of the ball and with the head coach. Those have to be a lot better. The defense, if you get Knowles or you don't get Knowles, it doesn't matter. They're going to be a good defense to win games. They're going to be good enough to win games. Are they, Jeremy? Yes or no?
Yes, they are, Jay.
Okay, so in theory, getting Knowles or not getting Knowles, it's not going to change the needle a lot.
Okay, the needle. I'm not talking about the needle.
Wait, do you agree with that? Yes or no?
There are games this year, Jay.
Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
I'm not agreeing on the needle part. I'm not following the needle. Listen to me right now. there are games this year that OU played that you got on here after live, that I got on here after live, that a lot of people got on after live and said, and I agree, I thought it was a great defense. There are games, though, that we got on there and said, man, offense was so bad, but the defense still could have made a stop and won the game. About 2 or 3 games this year.
I get it.
So
what
I'm saying is it could help in those 2 or 3 games.
I get it. And Purple Orca, this is a great theory. Yes. If you get Knowles, Brent Venables can focus more on game management. But
no, I'm going to say the number one reason you go get Knowles. You ready?
How do you know that's going to work?
Maybe it moves it from a B to a B plus, or a B plus to an A minus, however you want to rank it. But Jay, I'm going to say what you, Eric, and several have said all year, whether it goes to bowl games, whether it goes to anything. Here it is. Getting Jim Knowles, and this is a fact. This is 100% fact. If you don't agree with this, then you haven't been paying attention to college football. If OU gets Jim Knowles from a national championship Ohio State team, the number 1 DC in the country, it does help the narrative. So you guys that have been pushing that, you have to agree with that.
I would agree.
Wes Goodwin or Jim Knowles? What's better for the narrative?
Well, Jerem, I get that. I don't care though. You got to care about narrative. You got to win games, Jerem, is what I'm saying. Now listen.
You do care about narrative. You've said it all year.
Hey, Purple says great day, great offense, but he got Chip Kelly. That's very comparable to what this would be. Yes, I agree.
Jay, you've said it all year. The narrative, you can't go 6 and 7. The narrative. You've said the narrative. This would be a good kink in the. This would be a good Buckeye sticker to the helmet, whatever you want to say. This would be good because to me that looks good to go get the number 1 DC in the country.
Jerem,
from a team that just won a natty.
And a lot of people are saying this in chat, and maybe would you agree with this? If they get Knowles, does BV get 2 years guarantee, no matter what they do next?
Maybe that's why he wants to do it. I don't know, Jay.
Here's the thing, and KB Longhorn's 100% correct. It doesn't matter. You have to have everything. You can't just have a good defensive coordinator. It's not. They've had good Ds last few years. Last year was a good defense. They won 6 games. They had horrific offense. It's got to be everything. They got to be balanced. You got to have good staff. You got to have a really good coaching staff. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to have. And we'll see what happens. I do think the offense is going to be better. I've said it before. I do. Now, here's what I don't know yet is how many more games do you win? I would hope they can get 9 wins. That's why I hope for as an OU fan. 9 wins. That's what I want. Now, we'll see if it happens. Who is Gunner? Thanks for the super, Who is Gunner. I don't know who is Gunner, but appreciate the super big time. Thank you. Knowles would be a huge hire. It'd be a huge hire as far as, yes, they got a massive DC from somebody else. Correct. Knowles will bring us more recruits on the defensive side. I agree Knowles would, but the thing is, how long would he be at Oklahoma? Depends on if Brent Venables wins or what. I mean, so I like Jim Knowles. I do. Don't get me wrong. I just think and in fact, I would like to hire a lot. Listen, wait, let me finish. I would love to hire. Wait, let me finish. I would love to hire. But what are you whispering?
You said, let me finish. I wasn't even talking.
Well, you kind of were on my end. I would love to hire, but I got to see wins. I got to see a better offense. I got to see Brent Venables. If he's not coaching the defense, everything else has to be better. And they have to win games. They have to win 9 or 10 games, man.
Yeah, and hey, don't drink this offseason, that would be a challenge for everyone. Don't drink some of the Kool-Aid that you're going to be hearing. Hey, there was one comment from Furkton. Where was that comment at? I put it up there quickly. Furkton. It was about the former coach dictate. I don't know, Furkton, who you're referring to here, but there are some of there's some of that. There's some of that where people try to dictate who the future coach is going to be. I don't like that. Let the guy have that, reign. And Furkton, Jay, trivia question.
I got trivia, but first, Chuck's asking, how do we see the different pictures that people are posting about the new players? I'm not sure what
football.
Oklahoma football on Twitter would probably be the best. And yeah, I got Twitter tonight. It's a
I
sad
had
day.
trivia. I had a
Oh,
trivia.
I got a trivia.
Mine was just real quick, extra trivia. What does Fürchten mean? It's a German word.
I know you know German. I don't know German. So
Ja, das ist gut, Jay. Sehr gut.
So what does it mean?
I'm waiting on someone to say it.
Oh, you asked it as a trivia? Hunter, get ready to give
extra
somebody a
trivia
point.
question. What does Fürchten mean? It's dread, fear, afraid. Fürchten gets his own. He gets it. Yes, Fürchten gets it. Fürchten gets the point.
Hey, I got a trivia, and it's a sad day. It's a sad day today. Lost a great Bob Uecker. Hey, just a bit outside. Bob Uecker passed away. Just unbelievable actor. Loved when he was in movies. Ball 8, as Hunter says. But here's the trivia. Major League. Everybody knows that movie. It's a great movie. Did you know there's a cameo in there by a current manager? Current baseball manager was in that movie as a cameo. Who was it? That's the trivia tonight. Do you know this, Jerm? I will say that
it's funny. You always rip me for movie. You rip me for movie trivia, and here we are.
Hey, Bob Uecker, man, come on now. Sort of a trick question, Hunter says. I don't know if it's trick. I mean, not Joe Torre. That's a great guess. That's a great question. Dave Roberts is a great guess too, but
Dave Roberts was in Little Big League, I believe.
Not Lasorda, not Kapler, not Ralph Hicks.
Got a good one
this
tonight,
is a current manager in the MLB. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Hey, there it is right
Terry
there.
Francona.
Terry Francona is the correct answer. So give the point to Purple Orca. Gets the point tonight. Good job, Purple. Hey, Jerome, what year was that? Hey, what year was that released? Do you know? Take a guess.
90.
Nope. It was in the 80s. 89.
Okay. That's close. 4 years. Hey, we will update the trivia standings probably on January 20th so that when there's 10 days left or so, you all know where you stand.
Yeah. Hey, there was something I was going to get to up here before trivia. Purple Orca put it up here, and I got to get this right here. I've seen a lot of people say this. Are you saying he's the future head coach of Oklahoma? People are like, he hasn't even coached a game at Oklahoma as an OC, and people are saying he should be the next head coach. What's this world coming to?
Well, hey, the fact I'm going to say
yet.
I'm going to say something a lot of BV fans for sure won't want to hear, but if Arbuckle is a future head coach, it means BV has done really good at Oklahoma now.
No, I think he said future head coach of Oklahoma.
I get what he said. I'm saying something there. If Arbuckle gets a head coaching job soon, I think it means that BV's still at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. And by the way,
and Purple,
I'm not going to address
existence. Yeah,
I'm not going to address why Jim Knowles again would come to Oklahoma. I've said it time and time again. And Eric, I understand the hesitation.
You can't compare it, Eric.
But you can't compare it because there's been guys who have been at very mediocre schools. They've been coordinators of mediocre programs who's lost a lot of games to bad teams.
Nick Saban wasn't very good his early years at Michigan State, wherever he was, right? Lost some games.
And I don't want to mention Lincoln Riley, but they didn't.
I'm just saying, like, you can't.
I
get your point, Eric, but I can't. Here's the thing. You can say whatever you want about Arbuckle and Belt Buckle, whatever. You can say whatever you want. We'll know a lot after this year with Arbuckle. If he was the right hire, you'll know. I mean, I think you'll be able to tell.
You'll know early on.
I think you'll be able to tell if they know what they're doing offensively. I think they'll be a lot better.
Yeah, and Hunter's right. Chip Kelly wasn't killing it at his previous school. Hey, Hub, here I'll just say the reasons again. When you've won a natty at a team, it's a challenge maybe to go elsewhere and win another one, especially at a program like Oklahoma who's down. He could be a guy who's part of the rebuild there. Second of all, the family thing I think is important. to consider in this. And then I don't know. I can't talk on how he likes it there. But there are reasons people leave successful places. Man, especially if you're at the pinnacle. Well, what else do you have to do there?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of unknowns going into this year, but there's also, I think there's a lot of things that you could sit back and say, okay, it should be a lot better. And I get it. The tight end room, I'll say this right now, Eric. I see your thing about tight. I am not pumped about the tight end room. I'm not sitting here overly hyped about it. Now, if Devon Mitchell makes a massive jump, but
hey, Jaron Kennick, baby. Jaron Kennick's playing tight end, Jay.
Hey, my question to Eric on this would be, who lost the games this year at OU? Seth Luttrell or Brent Venables?
No, it's not that. My question would be,
no,
Kalen DeBoer was.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Kalen DeBoer was not supposed to lose all those games he did.
You can't put it all on
OU beat. How did OU beat Bama this year?
It doesn't matter regardless. Let's see what he does this year, guys. Let's see what he does. I don't understand why people say. I mean, I think there's
a great example. Dillingham at Florida State, awful offense.
I did, Eric. I did. You didn't.
Correct, Jay. And
that's my point. So
yeah, I know what your point is. And by the way, OU's offense was 130th. Washington State's was not bad.
No, I'm not going to talk about Arbuckle. Here's the thing. Let's see what he does next year. When you see him in Oklahoma, if he doesn't do well, then yes. But I'm not going to just say he's trash. Why would I say that? He's
How
developed
would you respond to that comment?
No, he's developed quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Has he not?
He has.
He's had good offenses wherever he's been. Has he not?
Correct.
So let's just see what he does in Oklahoma.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not sitting there saying they're going to win 11 games, Eric. I'm not sitting there saying they're going to be the #1 offensive team in the nation. I'm just saying I'm going to give the guy a chance. I'm interested to see. It's way better than they had last year. That's a fact. It's way better than they had last year.
Yeah, I think the scheme and the mind is going to be 10 times better. But what will that translate to? We don't know. But like Selene says, there is maybe some anticipation, at least excitement for maybe the unknown, I guess you could say, Jay. So
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching.
A long time away from that. That's for sure.
Thanks for being on here. We appreciate it. And maybe we'll get to this tomorrow night, Jay. Ferkton's comment. Save that for tomorrow night. We do this every night at 9:30. Hop on board with us. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a fantastic Friday before the frigid temps get here in Oklahoma.